Welcome back to Twisted Metal Customs. You're with Twisty. Happy Father's Day. Today's Sunday. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome time with your kids or whatnot. But today for me, I'm working on this old girl again. We know about the front. We're doing something different today. I need to get the steering wheel column and the brake, accelerator and clutch, like that pedal assembly in. I've ordered a clutch cable, so hopefully we can get this thing in movement soon. I'm just going to do the tail shaft. And then also we got the header assembly kit. I can start making my own headers. If you're not really into this stuff, bear with me. The other stuff's coming back, but it's better than watching paint dry. Let's get into it. We are down at the olive tree shed, and this is the Triton that was on the front of that chassis in that tub. It's an old drag ute. Had like a worked V6 in it, NOS set up on it. And yeah, shaved door handles. There's snakes in here or anything? Yeah, this is the beauty. So I'm going to steal that steering column, and oh yeah, it's got a clutch even though it's an auto. That's beautiful. I'm taking those 3 pedals and that steering column out of here, and possibly the seats if they'll fit in that other jail bar. Beautiful. That's a good plan. That's mad. I'm taking them too. Actually, there's a lot of stuff I could use in here. This is called recycling or upcycle, whatever they want to call it. Look at this dash. How good's that? Let's get a bit of spotty. How good's that? I didn't do that, by the way. That's pretty funny. Isolator switch. There's noises in here. I don't know if there's big rats, or I'm not worried about mice, but rats or snakes or whatever in here. It's been down here for about 2 years now. It's like those fake houses. It's just everything just pulls apart. That looks retro enough for the jail bar. So I need to put the heater in it for the demister. It's going to be a very good source of parts. Look at that. I'm pretty sure I've got to have collapsible steering column. Pass roadworthy. Anyway, let's get into start wrenching and just start stripping stuff off, and if we think we're going to use it, we'll bloody grab it. Look at this rat infested floor that my cut thumb's just getting rubbed all in. Look at this. There's mouse poo everywhere. They've been nesting in here for quite a while. Come on. You beauty. That wasn't disgusting at all. Alright, how do I get this off? So there's bolts on the roof again. Gotcha. Oh yeah. Oh God. Yeah, okay. Do we really need an accelerator? Yeah. Just super tight. No bloody good. Got one half out, but then stripped it, and then stripped the other one, so just think about how I'm going to get that off. Maybe saber saw or something, cut the bolts. So I tried to cut the bolt off, snapped the bottom of my saber saw blade, so useless. Now who said brute force doesn't work? Yep. Twisty 1, Triton 0. Today I went to the market and I got a brake booster, pedal assembly and an accelerator cable. Now, that's a good haul. Actually, look what I found. This original accelerator pedal from this car. Steering wheel, too short. So, that's no good. I'll figure out how I can extend that. And I'll get back to you. So that's ideally where it should be, maybe in another 50 mil, but you know, roughly there for a starting point. The pedal box seems like it will work. An accelerator on this side, so that's good, but just the steering column, I've got about 200 mil. Whether I can take that off the spline, extend that spline and then just rejoin that up here, but several hours later, oh yeah. Look at that. Smooth as a baby's bottom. As you can see, this is new and it's working. Don't worry about that, need some more bolts in it. But this is actually out of that VH we dragged out of that swamp, and it's now a donor car because we're putting all that engine gearbox drivetrain into the other VH. Long story short, cut that section out, that knuckle, cut there, put that inside, welded, or butt welded that shaft and then put a collar around it as well for extra strength, which I don't think we'll need it, but anyway, I'll clean that up tomorrow, but looks pretty good. And it works, and we have with cable tie steering. When you're building a hot rod, that I'm finding out, I'm just a rookie, but I can't just go ahead and just fix that steering wheel where it needs to be because I have no idea where it's going to be. I don't know where my seat height's going to be. I don't know where my pedal box is going to be, accelerator. So that's got to stay there hanging down with zip ties until I get a seat, until I get the pedal boxes in and sort of work on all three at once. Same as all this guard. It's not as easy as just bolting it up and leaving, but I think that's the biggest challenge I've had with this build so far, is obviously learning things from fresh, like just getting in and, you know, cutting my teeth on it. But it's, you know, the other classic cars, you can just work on one panel goes on where it's supposed to be. This one here, it's all custom. Like, yeah, I'm using other panels from another car, but they're not meant for this car. As you've seen, it's pretty intense. And the steering column from a Triton Ute with a VH Commodore extension knuckle onto a Triton chassis with a Ford engine, a modern Ford engine with a Ford Deluxe front grille with a Chevy tub. Now that's a Bitzer. Should be called Bitzer. Old Bitzer. I like it. Anyway, let's wait till tomorrow and see what else we can do. Rightio, I have got a couple of roof screws, just holding that roughly in the spot. I never used the word roughly so many times in my life in this build. Anywho, yeah, that's tacked into spot, held there. I've just went through and put some nut certs in the firewall for that steering column boot, and I put nut certs in for the clutch and brake pedal assembly. And then I just put the accelerator cable in. I had to fully rebend that up because otherwise it was down here, different pitch of the firewall on the Triton wall, but regardless, that's in the spot. I've rebent that up to somewhat a usable position. Let's just see what the full length of travel is once I get the cable hooked up. But I've already made my first boo-boo. You see the pedal box has got those nut certs in the back here. Those four. Yeah, well, they're gonna have to come out. Bloody bolts hanging at the back, so obviously that goes on the engine bay side of the firewall, goes through the firewall, and I've even kept those nuts somewhere, so then I've just got to put them through the bracket of the pedal box. So I've got to re-drill out those nut sets now, which was a fun waste of time. Next problem is that where the brake booster bolts onto, there's that rib there that comes down. So I'm just going to try this first before I cut it all out. I'm just going to cut out that section there and see if I can hammer and dolly that thing straight to meet up to that lip. So at least that the mating surface is flat, and then I can sort of hammer and dolly that back around to a bit of a dome finish and well up, grind it down, and hopefully it is somewhat respectable. Oh yeah, look at that. That's more like it. Nice and sturdy. Fits pretty good, except for one thing. The output. Yeah, that's right there. But I undone it, and I can just turn that bad boy around. Look at that. It's like it's meant to be. Plenty of gap there for the torque of the engine. It's taken shape. Look at it. Got to find somewhere to put a battery box as well. Probably guessing maybe there. Yeah, and a radiator. Alrighty, time to unwrap that box. Oh yeah! Look at all those bends. Run! There we go. 2 4-in-1s. Well, tomorrow morning we'll start making some headers. Try to. We'll attempt to make some headers. That's the beginning of my headers, and we've learned a few things as we're going. This is my first time, basically everything with this truck, so I'm learning just like you guys are. And that's where they're roughly going to be. I can tweak them as I go and get the collection piece at the back here. But I just want to show you real quick what I've been doing. Now, as we know, the header flange itself is square, right? To match the exhaust outputs. And our tube is round. And obviously it doesn't quite match, right? So, this is where I have formulated the unique monstrosity design, I like to call it. I know it doesn't look pretty, but the only important parts are the corners. So this is my test piece, and to be honest, I don't have to make any more or better because it works just the way it is. You can see that's the shape it leaves. So I'll show you real quickly how we do it. So when you're on your exhaust flange and you find out what angle of the dangle you want, let's say for example here, all I do is mark the 2 corners with my pen, like that, right? And I know that's the top. Top or bottom doesn't matter, as long as I identify the short side and long side. From there, I put it on my beat laboratory over here. Then I quickly hammer that into the rough oblong rectangle shape I need. Like so. And then I insert monstrosity piece into there. And then I beat it like it owes me money. See that? Probably a bit too much on one side. And as you can see, it's not too bad. You know, that took what, 6 or 7 hits. And if you wanted to fine tune that jig, you can. But I'm not, because it's good enough for this rat rod. So they'll give you a pretty good mating surface to weld on. Ideally, to sleeve it in a little bit better. But this actually, the outside diameter of this pipe, it actually is a little bit too big to fit inside. But, you know, if you want to do a pristine job, you just get a slightly smaller pipe. But yeah, that's what I've done on this one side of the bank. So that's a bloody nifty little tool. So if you're ever doing it, consider doing that. Otherwise, I've seen other ways to do this, and it just seems like a pain in the ass. And as you can see, it somewhat takes shape pretty quick. But now is the hard part, and I'm going to be stuffing around for days. I can guarantee it. Trying to get all this shape and angles and stuff cut into that collection header. It is really good to see this thing to start to take shape, and it gets closer to the road, and I cannot wait to drive it. The next video that we're going to put up, I've already filmed it and I'm pretty excited to show. I've actually got 2 pretty cool ones, but the next one is going to be, do you remember the VH we pulled out of that swampador, and the VH we salvaged from scrap? Well, we're going to combine them into one. We're doing a full drivetrain swap from the Swampy into the salvage VH. And I'll tell you what, they come up pretty good. So I'll show you a bit of a snippet here. It's going to be a mini series of Rust to Resto on the VH. So I know you guys have been waiting for that for a fair while now since we've retrieved it from the swamp. And you can look forward to that in the next episode. So stick around, subscribe if you haven't, and give it a like. And I will see you next weekend, but have a great weekend until then.